Hey everybody, welcome to Trail Talk Leg 12. This will go from basically Hampton to Damascus, Virginia. And I should probably, first of all, say that this is not an entertaining video. I had a subscriber say, hey, this is boring stuff. It's not really meant to be entertaining as much as informational, so sorry. And the other thing is, I did an iOS update on my phone, and for some reason it's deciding to randomly stop recording, so I don't know what's going on with it. I've just did a power off and power back on here. Hopefully that'll take care of the issue, but if not, then it's something we're gonna have to live with today for a while until I can figure out what's going on, and I will apologize ahead of time. Okay, so you remember, right? I stayed at the Bremer Castle Hostel here. There's quite a few hostels in Hampton. Resupply there. The hostel caretaker brought us down here to the US 231, where there's a parking lot, and we began a beautiful walk, nice flat walk along the lake. You're going to go all the way to the other side. Somewhere in here I met a really nice couple that had come out from Bristol, Tennessee to meet me. They were my subscribers, and it was a really kind of cool experience. First time somebody actually came out to intercept me to say hi, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then over here, and then you'll cross the dam, and then it's beautiful. Once again, just beautiful scenery all the way along there, and then start up from there. And there's a hard surface road here you'll cross. This is where they park to come down and meet me. This would be a great place to park for a day hike to go either direction, to be honest with you. And then started up towards the Van der Vetter shelter, and once again, all along here, you're getting opportunities to take a look at and see the dam down below. And the shelter here, there's a couple of things about it you need to know. There's not a lot of tent spaces around there, if I remember right, although the weather was turning bad, and Hamfist and I elected to actually stay in the shelter that night. And then it really started raining. A lot of people came in after that, and there wasn't a lot of great places to put tents down. But there is a beautiful view off the back of the shelter here, and I'm going to insert that so you can see what that looks like. Okay, all right, you're up on a ridgeline. There's not a lot of water. There's a spring here. Bad on me not to elect to camel some water to the shelter, because once again, I'm still learning my lessons about not looking ahead. So the water is 0.3 down a steep Blue Blaze trail that is 0.1 south of the shelter. So when I got to the shelter, Hamfist was ahead of me, and he's like, did you get any water on the way in? I said, no. He kind of shook his head and said, well, you got to go back 0.1 and down 0.3, and you better take a walking stick with you, because it's really, really steep. And it was. I came back not real happy that I had done that. Now, what's neat about this, if you come across the Blue Blaze trails, you're coming into Van der Vetter, and you don't really want to go and check out the views, you just want a place to camp, go down towards the water, because you go down a 0.1 to another little saddle, and there's a campfire ring down there, and there's plenty of places to camp, and then it's a 0.2 down to the water and back up. Once again, very steep. That's where you have to take the hiking pole with you, is that last section from that little campsite. So there's some pretty nice camping that's just down here by this water source. Okay, actually it's not by the water source. It's on a little saddle, and then easy to get down to the water, or not easy, but it's shorter to get down there. Otherwise, you look at a 0.8 day to go get water. So I kind of wish I'd cameled some up here. Now, with all the rain we got, I could have probably just filled up my bladder from the runoff from the shelter roof and then filtered it from there. But that's something I learned later on. Now, if it's still a day where you don't have a lot of going on as far as things keeping you from making good distance, and you're here and you still got plenty to hike that day, this area here was a really nice campsite. I still remember that. I went and got just a little bit of water because I kind of got here dehydrated. I didn't bring as much up with me, because I counted on filling up the rest here. So this was kind of a neat little area. And it was kind of cold and rainy, and I left Bandavitter before Hamfist did, and we were going to rendezvous at the Double Spring shelter. And he never did arrive, never did see him again after that. He went to the Rift Raft party and stayed in Damascus for a while, so we never really met up after that again. But anyway, so once again, I hit this Ironman shelter, if I remember right, about noon that day. So you can kind of get an idea. Yeah, it's ridgeline, but you know, ridgeline's got some rocks and stuff and obstacles. And if I remember right, there was some really hard briary stuff through here. I still had my poncho I wanted to wear, but it would be shredded. As a matter of fact, I ended up with a couple of tears in my pack cover along this area here from the briars that were encroaching on the trail. Anyway, let me show you a picture of me here at this campsite right after I got water. And you know, not all is sunshine and roses on the Appalachian Trail. Okay, so this is a really cool shelter, and once again, the water here is 0.3 down a steep hill, so another good half-mile walk to go get water. But that's what happens when you're on a ridgeline. Then I kept going that day. I didn't stop. And if I remember right, this is still a pretty nice walk. Some beautiful area through here. If I remember right, some beautiful views, and there's actually some improvised campsites through this area here too that you could end up at. They're probably in the gut hook. I never have looked at that section of the gut hooks because I didn't use it the year that I was doing this. And then of course we get here to the Double Spring shelter. And this is in a little valley. It's a nice little shelter. You know, 6 people in there. There's 3 of us that night, and the water's not too far away. If you come up the hill a little bit from the shelter, there's some camping and some good hammocking spots up here. And then for me, the next day was a long day. I did about 16 miles because I wanted to get here. So you get Damascus way down here. Okay, so for me to do a whole page in a day is a good stretch. But my thought was, how about I stop short that day? And it's a long day for me anyway. It's not like I stopped short. It's like I stopped when I was pretty much done. But this gave me then the opportunity to just do a knee row in to Damascus and have all day to get some laundry done and do some grocery shopping and everything else. And I stayed at the place called the Hiker's Inn, and I'll go over some of these. But as you come down here, you get to cross the Tennessee-Virginia border, and this is a big one because now you're into your officially your 4th state, and it's going to be the longest state that you're going to be in. 1/4 of the trail is ahead of you, and I was excited because getting to Damascus, that's kind of a big deal. That's psychologically, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't go past Damascus. Some of it because of money concerns, and some people that's all they wanted to do. I mean, that's a heck of a hike, 470 miles to get into Damascus. So let me show you the trail crossing here, the border crossing with me in it. And this campsite had good water, plenty of places for tents and hammocks and everything. It's kind of a very good staging area for your final descent down in here into Damascus. And of course you've got the welcome sign, and I'll show you a picture of that here, of the welcome sign, and which is kind of traditional for everybody to kind of take a picture there. That big field there is where a lot of the vendors end up for trail days. And I got in about I think 3 or 4 days prior to trail days, but I elected to hike out before trail day started so I could actually have some solitude on the trail, because at this time there were so many people because people were converging from every direction hiking into trail days. So all right, let me show you that picture. Okay, so Damascus is, I think, it's the second trail town that you actually hike through. And you can see here that you come down. You're going to come down to make that descent, and then you're going to come out. And right here is where that sign is, that welcome sign. Okay, and then this field here is where a lot of the vendors are at. And I think here's the tent city for trail days. Okay, and there's a bunch of places to stay. Woodchuck Hostel is one that a lot of people like and enjoy. And here's Food City up here. I stayed here at the Hiker Inn, which is right along the path. One of the other guys I stayed with at one of the campgrounds, he went in here to this Lady Fox bed and breakfast. Really liked it. A little expensive, no laundry, and so he had to come down here to Crazy Larry's to do the laundry. There's a couple places to eat. There's two outfitters. You got Mount Rogers Outfitters, which is a big one, but you also have Sundog Outfitters over here. And kind of what Mount Rogers doesn't have, Sundog will have. So they're not totally duplicative, but they're definitely complementary, I believe. This Cowboys is a place to go up and grab something to eat. I wouldn't necessarily shop there, but you can grab something to eat there. Had breakfast there in the afternoon. This is a really nice place here. This Mojo's. It was a great place to go for breakfast and to eat. There is a Dollar General if you want to do that. Let's see, Dollar General right here. Yeah. So now I walked from here up to the Food City. That's maybe a mile. It's not that far. Okay, so I mean, just to give you a scale here, it looks like it's a long way, but this whole scale is only 1.1 miles on this. And then when it's time to leave, you'll hike down the actual hike out of town, and then eventually there'll be a turn to the left up into the mountains. Okay, and so that is kind of the overview of Damascus. And like I said, there's plenty of places. There's plenty of places to stay. There's a church, and maybe it's the place here is this church place to stay. Anyway, I personally I recommend the Hiker Inn. Really enjoyed that. You can stay in the house in a private room. They've got a out back. They've got a kind of a bunk house. It's got 4 bunks in it and a bathroom, and then a side little hallway and a double bed for a couple. And then they've got this Airstream trailer that you can put 2 people in that are out back. So they've got some options there. They're really nice. And he hiked I can't remember when he through hiked, but the man that owns this, he's a through hiker, and his wife, I think her name's Lee. Really nice people. They'll do the laundry for you. You just pay them, and they'll take care of the laundry. So, all right. Anyway, that is leg 12. The next leg will be climbing up out of Damascus and going up over White Top and Mount Rogers, and then into the Grayson Highlands and the 500-mile mark. I'll end here with some pretty flowers and a little family of lady slippers.